do a little story time with you today. My dad's got a lot of cool stories to share. Figured we'd share them with you. So, Dad, let's start. What do you want to talk about today?
How I got started. How cars just became a part of my life, and always have been now. I mean, cost me a lot. And my stepdad, he was a drag racer. 1962, 63, I got old enough to steer the car to the drag strip for him. We pulled that thing down US 19 to Sunshine Speedway with a chain, unhooked it, and went drag racing. And it was a 1956 Ford. Ernie was the classification guy out of Sunshine at the time. And we would always run F and E gas. We won by 27 weeks in a row with that old 56 Ford, set of cheater slicks on the back of it with a 312. Dual fours, it had the old dual fours on it from a highway patrol car.
How fast did it run?
It run 14 flat.
That was pretty good at the time, wasn't it?
That was pretty respectable at the time. So, and actually, they allowed me because he told them, this kid's good. So at 14 years old, I got to go down the drag strip in his car. I was so excited. I mean, my feet were shaking, but it was so much fun. So I was hooked, of course. So it went on, and then I met my future wife, got into hanging out with other kids and stuff, and my first car was a 57 Ford. And my stepdad gave me that car. Well, I put a big block in it, a 406 Thunderbird, and that thing ran right at 1390s. Had a lot of fun with that car, street racing. But I don't know if you guys any of you are old enough that are watching this to remember when Steak and Shake was the place to go, Pension Pride for street racing out on Gulf to Bed. Well, I lined up with a 283 Chevrolet, 57. He waxed my Ford.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And if you know Fords back then, you had to have the parts that fit. Well, Chevy, everything was so much simpler. So I switched to Chevrolet. My first one was a 55. It had a 235 six-cylinder. I planned to hop it up. But in the meantime, I found a 65 Biscayne with a 409, 400 horse in that thing. And all I did, I took the old Rochester carburetor off of it and put a Holley aluminum intake and was running 1360s. Now, that's pretty respectable with a 307 gear in the back.
That's a really low gear.
That's a really high gear for that car. But it did okay. Didn't have a lot of money, but yeah, it was great. It was great. Spent a lot of time in Sunshine. As time went by, then I built some Camaros for footbrake racing as drag racing changed from like a class drag racing to a bracket race, where it made it really, and now, it made it really easy for anyone that wanted to go drag racing. You didn't have to be big money or anything.
So tell us some stories of you racing some of those guys back in the day. You raced a guy that had a Corvette, right?
Oh yes, we built a 63 Biscayne, had a Corvette 350 in it, 4-speed. We had the vertical gate shifter, so you could shift that thing. There was no H pattern. It was just yank it back and forth. And we went out on Gulf to racing. A guy come out with a 427 Corvette. Kid had some money, had a nice car too. And back then, McMullen Booth was just an old 2-lane highway. We went out there and raced. That 63 would get away from him every time, and he'd come back just cussing and cussing. There was no way we were cheating. But back then, there was no nitrous. There was no blowers. It was all factory stuff. But that little 63 was pretty tough. And we did have a 411 gear in that one. But yeah, that was really nice. And same thing, just kept going and kept going. I mean, I always had something, not professional type stuff, but really good running stuff that was impressive for what I had. And yeah, it was great times, great times.
What are some of the other cars that you raced back in the day?
Raced some guys like, there was a guy that owned a hog farm in Tarpon. He had a Corvette also. It was a 61, 62, 327. At that time, I had a 64 Chevelle that I had dropped an L88 big block in it. Now, keep in mind, none of this was high performance yet, but I dropped an L88 in it. It did have headers. I think I had a set of headman headers on it. The L88 intake with a 780 Holley on it, 4-speed, 456 gear. And we raced in Tarpon Springs up on an old county road named 77. He was top dog. It was a kid with a Nova, some others, but we raced. And my stepdad at that time, he was getting a little older, but he was really hard to get along with. Started drinking. And he would always tell this guy, I'm going to teach you a thing or two. And I kind of got feeling bad. I wanted to let the guy win every once in a while, but I just couldn't lift. I just couldn't lift. So yeah, I beat him like every Sunday. He tried again. Get that damn Chevelle out of here. $100 a run, $100 a run. The Nova, not even competition.
$100 is a lot of money back then, right?
100 was a lot of money, but my dad agreed to it, stepdad, and of course, Mr. Tatum, he had a lot of money owning the hog farm, and he also was in charge of the maintenance at the dog track out in Oldsmar there. And yeah, but he had a nice Corvette. Well, things went on, and my stepdad got harder to deal with, so I walked away from him and the Chevelle. And he got somebody else to drive it. They blew it up. It wound up in a junkyard. But I learned that Mr. Tatum was looking for me to drive his car professionally. And I didn't get the word. I always regret not going back up, at least talking with him. But yeah, that would have been great. That would have been so awesome. But yeah, then as it went on, I went to work for a guy, and he just asked me, you want to go drag racing? I'm like, heck yes. So he put the money out for drag racing. We raced at Sunshine. This was 1999. After all the years of having really pretty decent cars, I finally got a chance to really go bracket racing. So every Friday night, every Wednesday out there testing tune, I was in his car. He put out the money, and I ran top 10 like 7 years in a row. We went all over the place. Alabama, South Carolina, you know, some really good racers. You know, I never won a championship, but I do have a few trophies to show for
all your hard work.
All the hard work into the car. I did all the work. Nelson, I know you folks have heard his name, Nelson Brothers Machine Shop. They did the head work on the car. And then there was aftermarket parts. When I put a 1050 Dominator trick Edelbrock intake on it, that car ran 650s on the foot brake, 8th mile. Oh, it was a blast. It was a blast. My son got into it.
Yeah.
He went to college. When he got out, we started our little thing here. We're not drag racing anymore, even though I do have a nice little drag racer in the other garage. We're now into just doing what we can with these boosted cars and collector cars. We got some fine stuff.
We do. And that'll wrap it up for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for subscribing.
See ya.